rather than do it large, and they figure out that it's about pitching and it's about bullpen. It's about the things that they didn't have this year. But forget that later. The Yankees will go on a full frontal attack. So will the New York fan. So will the Yankee fan. The Yankee fan can't wait now to get a shot at them in April. It's going to be more intense from the Yankee standpoint. The question I have for the great Red Sox fan, the Barnacle of the world or the Eddie C of the world or any of those dyed-in-the-wool Red Sox fans, Sean McDonough, whoever else we talked to today, will they still have the same intensity towards the Yankees now that they are kind of toe-to-toe? Okay? They have their crown. No more 1918, no more you guys stink, you choke, you this, you that. That's over. Now, they haven't won as many championships as the Yankees. We know that. But they have now been welcomed in. It's like the United States is the only superpower. The Yankees are the only superpower. And now you're welcoming another superpower into the mix. Now you got to treat them as a worthy opponent. They just beat you. They embarrassed you in a 7-game series. They beat you from 3 down. Now they're a champion. Now the Yankees know we're going to go get them. But do the Red Sox have this? Does the Red Sox fan, will he have the same animosity? The one thing that tells me he will, and that this will be heightened,
I think you will,
is 6 minutes, they reported last night, after the celebration began outside Fenway Park. 6 minutes, someone reported during the night. I saw it. 6 minutes. After they had won the championship, they flocked to the streets, and they had their celebration. 6 minutes after they had won the World Series, they started to chant, Yankees, you know what.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting.
That's 6 minutes after. So their thoughts got right back to the Yankees in a hurry.
Mike, 2 things on that. First off, what is Fox doing? And they're showing you New York City.
Why is New York City an issue here?
Who cares? I borrowed New York City. It's got 20
stupid Red Sox fan. I mean, what?
I mean, that is as dumb as it can be. Show Boston.
That bothered me.
Oh, I don't understand
Why didn't you show Spokane, Washington?
I mean, why New York City?
Why New York
There's
City?
not enough Red Sox fans here. There's some Red Sox fans, but not enough to show cameras.
Why you got cameras in New York City? Put them in Boston.
You got a big. You wouldn't show New York City. You wouldn't show people root for the Yankees in Boston when they won a World Series. Why would you do it the other way?
I didn't understand that.
Makes no sense. They did it 2 or 3 times. That was as dumb as you can do. And I'll tell you, the other thing I would say, before I get to Mike's point, the other thing I would say is, if anybody doesn't believe, now listen, it's 50-50 because the next day's pitcher is important too. I'm not disputing that. But if anybody doesn't believe in momentum, I mean, just look at this World Series. The Red Sox had so much momentum off that, and Torrey mentioned it last Friday. They had so much momentum, hadn't beaten the Yankees 4 straight. That was going to be very, very difficult for the Cardinals to upend that momentum, especially after that first game.
I agree, Doug, but the bottom line is this. The Red Sox got, after Game 1, they got great starting pitching.
Oh, they did.
They got flawless starting pitching. And I'll tell you something. I thought, now listen, starting pitching makes you look
I thought
bad.
the Cardinals were out of it, Mike, after the base running in Game 3.
See, I think the Cardinals were totally demoralized.
Oh, they were demoralized, absolutely.
I think the Cardinals gave up. And, you don't usually say that about teams, but I thought their at-bats were lazy. I thought their at-bats were not challenging, weren't competitive. I thought the Cardinals were so stunned, as you said, about what happened in Game 3. Now, the Cardinals went home after Game 2 and probably thought, you know what, we're going to win our games in our park.
Right, exactly. We all thought that. I thought that. You thought that.
And when they fell apart early in Game 3.
When Suppan screwed
up. And then
up,
Pedro put them to sleep. They never woke up again.
Yeah, Suppan's base running was the last play of the series.
Absolutely. Suppan, the key to that game, they made the Manny Ramirez home in the key to that game, which is ridiculous. The Suppan play cost them 2 runs.
It was 1-1.
And changed the game. They would have had a lead.
Yeah, as it turned out, 2-1 after 3. And the Cardinals were dead as a doornail.
Never. And their bats, Doug, I almost thought last night they had give-up at bats. I thought they really did. This is low.
You can't let
this is not Kurt Schilling pitching. This is Derek Lowe pitching. I mean, come on.
I mean, you thought Isringhausen might give him a little lift in that 8th inning. That didn't happen.
But they can't do anything.
Oh, terrible.
The only guys who had any aggressive at-bats at all were Womack, Renteria, and Pujols. That even had
Walker hit a home run.
He did the night before, and last night he didn't even look great.
Yeah, he didn't.
Popped up in a big spot in the 8th inning.
Yeah, he did.
Doug, I thought their body language was awful.
They did.
And Roland, you're going to hear now that Roland was hurt. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, because he hit a home run against Houston to win.
I didn't hear it. Yeah, I didn't hear it.
I don't want to hear it.
Hit the home runs against Houston.
Roland's a little overrated offensively.
For 15.
He's a little overrated offensively.
Hit 161 in the whole postseason.
He had 2 days in the postseason. Game 2 Astros, Game 7 Astros.
And Edmonds, geez. When you want to, it's funny. You hear how great Edmonds is, and boy, the Yankees should have got Edmonds all these years and everything. Edmonds is a brilliant fielder. And then you see him like this.
Oh, he was terrible.
And all I say is, you know what? Give me Bernie Williams.
No, he got a bad break with Montague in Game 1. That was not strike. That was a terrible call.
I agree.
And, bases loaded, 8th inning. But hey, he was terrible.
Let me say this, okay? Hey, listen, Bernie Williams couldn't field with him on his best day.
Oh,
I'm not saying he could.
No.
But you know what? People keep forgetting how good he is in a big spot.
No, I
mean, Edmonds was like, those were give-up at-bats.
Now, he did hit the homer in Game 6 against Houston and win that game.
Did.
But in this series, he was an.
Hey, the National League has to be pulling covers over their head.
Terrible.
That's the best representative. That team wins 105 games and looks like the Expos in the World Series. The Expos.
I'll give you a better one. The 54 Indians getting swept by the Giants. The last team, by the way, with that amount of wins to get swept in the World Series was the 54 Indians. And Mike's bigger point is a fair point. How does a Red Sox fan now next year? They're still going to be in that afterglow with what happened this year, but do they raise it up a notch against the Yankees, too? I think part of it's the front office. With the front office, Lucchino, Warner, and I forget Theo because it's about money. Lucchino, Warner, and Henry, do they keep that payroll at $125 million and match the Yankees? Or do they, let the Pedro go, Lowe go, even don't go crazy on Veritek, let Cabrera go, and bring the payroll down some because they've won their championship? I think part of your answer, Mike, will be what happened as far as the...
Here's Fox. Here's sensitive Fox. Fox calls, Doug, to say that the Boston mayor, because of what happened last week, would not allow Boston cameras.
I don't want to hear
First of all, why the hell you need a camera in a bar for, number one?
No.
Number two, if you do you ever hear in New Hampshire? You know how many Red Sox fans there are in New Hampshire? Ever hear of Connecticut?
Oh, Worcester, Mass.
Go up to New Haven.
Springfield. There's a million.
Yeah, you only can go to Boston. You come to New York City.
New London. There's a million places.
Because there's some yahoos in New York City. There's 20 Red Sox fans, cuddled around a table for you. That's the dumbest thing I ever saw, putting a New York City dateline on there.
I'm glad Mike and I picked up on it at the same time. I could not
New York City?
That.
This is a Red Sox plane. You're going to the city that hates them the most, and you're going to put them up as celebrating that night?
Hard to believe. I'll give Fox one thing. They had a nice open.
Go to New Hampshire.
They did a nice open last night in the pregame on the Red Sox history with good music behind it. Getting ready for a fourth game. That was nice. But that idea was stupid. 120 Mink, Mike Sports Update on Sports Radio 66.
WFAN 2020 Sports.
Okay, Chris, and the parade in Boston either tomorrow or Saturday as the Red Sox celebrate a World Series championship. Derek Lowe pitched all three clinchers. The Red Sox are World Series champions today. Wally Backman did not interview for the Mets manager opening today, had a second interview with the Diamondbacks yesterday, and has decided to concentrate his efforts in that. Redskins starting safety Sean Taylor arrested in Fairfax County is a free man again after posting a $5,000 bond. Taylor was picked up around 4:30 Wednesday morning for allegedly driving under the influence. Preseason basketball, Knicks, Utah in the Garden. Nets and Sixers will square off in the Meadowlands, those games tonight. This report brought to you by JCPenney. What's inside? JCPenney Saturday one-day only sale. Come in early for fantastic doorbusters, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's all inside JCPenney. With reports every 20 minutes, this is John Minko,
Get to your calls. Let's have Mike guess the ratings for Game 4. You want last year before you guess it?
Yeah, but Game 4 last year wasn't the same. But go ahead.
Yeah, it wasn't the same.
No, it wasn't the same
2-1,
kind of magnitude.
It was an extra inning game. It was a long game.
Doug, I remember it well.
13-6 last year.
I would say, considering everyone was waking up everyone and saying you have to, come to the dance, rather than run away from this game, it was actually adding audience because of the historical note of the game. I would say the game probably did an 18.
18-2. It's a good rating.
Very good.
Boston.
Oh, God. I was wondering if it could hit 65 in Boston. It hit over 60?
No,
had to.
Not quite. No? 59.
15. That's pretty good in the city of Boston size.
St. Louis.
They probably were throwing the sets out the window.
They went down in St. Louis.
That's why
I brought it up to you.
I probably did. Probably was about 30.
42.
I'm thinking they might be turning the sets on as the game went on.
And New York.
Probably good, dog. Probably. I bet you did a 15.
You're going to be shocked.
Did 20?
17-3.
Wow, good.
New York got into this.
Oh, yeah.
New York watched.
I watched it.
New York watched last night.
I watched the postgame. I watched Nesson postgame.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I saw all the ESPN stuff.
I watched everything.
I tell you, this shows you if they ever would have gotten to a Game 7,
oh, forget it.
They would have done a 30 in that game.
Oh, tremendous.
They would have done as well as they.
And I don't think this is going to in any way minimize. I think it's going to. I know it's going to escalate the intensities from the Yankee side and the New York side. I think what's going to happen is Boston's going to be satisfied for a couple days.